the Q&A program on Monday night. We're still hearing ramifications from that. Kate, are you satisfied with the ABC's response?
Look, I have to tell you I am. I believe it was an error of judgment to have Maliki on board on Monday night. But first thing Tuesday morning, the ABC came out, Mark Scott came out and said, look, it was an error of judgment. We shouldn't have done it. And we're putting in place, an inquiry to have a look at what actually happened here. I think one of the things we've got to remember about last week for the ABC is on Tuesday as well. The government was applauding the ABC for the killing season program, and by Thursday, we were having a heads would roll.
Yeah.
So sometimes you always think in these things, if one day you're at the top of the pops, the next day you're at the bottom, you're probably somewhere in between, and you might have got it about right. I think this is a bit of a mountain. Well, it's not a mountain out of a molehill. It was a mistake to have him on Monday night. Well, but everyone makes mistakes.
Well, yeah, you've been a panellist on the show.
Yeah, I have.
You're saying an inappropriate forum for that, and particularly given it's live TV.
That's the problem. Quite serious. Interviewing him, we have free speech. Free speech means being willing to listen to people you don't like their views. That's what free speech is. It's not about just listening to people you like. That particular format is energetic, it's edgy, and it's difficult, meaning that the audience can say anything they like and do anything they like. Now, the reality is having somebody like him in that forum was a mistake. There's no doubt. It really could have gone to custard, much more than it did.
But was the other mistake also the rebroadcast on the Wednesday?
No, look, I think, once it's out there, it's out there. Lots of people can tape it, lots of things. That's just silly. I think there was a big mistake from the government, generally, to come down quite as hard on the ABC. I think Steve Chobo's response to Zaki was actually stirred him up even more so. Nobody has commented about it. Somebody tells you we don't want you in Australia, and you happen to be a marginal nutter, which you can describe. Of course he's going to go berserk. So in a sense, Chobo baited him because he came back twice and said, we want you out of the country. And nobody has actually made comments about that. Yes, he was the wrong person to get to ask a question, but that's not a cardinal sin. The amount of fuss that's been made of it is a cardinal sin. I'm sorry, the government should not have attacked the ABC in the way they did. They're trying to undermine the idea of the independence of the ABC. It's not up to the government to sort of say you should never invite somebody like that. It's not up to the government to say you are letting terrorists loose and make all sorts of things like that. They made a hell of a fuss about something which was a mistake, but not a cardinal mistake, and they're still making a fuss about it. They're still trying to connect it up as though this is the undermining of Western civilization and Australian peace and goodwill. I'm also a Q&A regular, and I think it's a very good program it had, because part of its charm is the fact that it does that. That's why it grabs the audiences.
Because you don't know what's coming, do you? You know the issues, but you don't know what's likely to happen. Why is the government demanding heads will roll? I think that's totally... I think that Mark Scott's point about the fact that this is a public broadcaster and not a state broadcaster has to be remembered. This is an assault on the independence of the ABC.
Just quickly, a related topic. The children of